Henry Elespuru and Chuck Jumpa, and our referee in charge of this bout, we have Chuck Hassett. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening, the NABF Flyweight Championship, scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first the challenger on my left, fighting out of the red corner, entering the ring wearing blue trunks with silver trim, joining us from Mexico City, Distrito Federal, Mexico. He weighed in at 111 3/4 pounds with a record of 17 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw. He has 7 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome tonight's challenger, Miguel Ángel Puma Granados. And his opponent across the ring, presenting the defending champion on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, entering the ring wearing black trunks with white trim, fighting out of East St. Louis, Illinois. He weighed in at a trim and ready 111 1/4 pounds. His record includes 13 wins, 3 losses, 8 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight he is making the first defense of his title. Please welcome the defending NABF Flyweight Champion, Arthur Flash Johnson. Once again, Chuck Hassett, our referee in charge, now to give instructions.
All right, mouthpieces. Mouthpiece, Arthur. You got yours in? All right, gentlemen, you've had your instructions. Good luck. Buena suerte.
Chuck Hassett, the referee. Tail of the tape. Johnson's 5'7". Granados is 5 inches shorter. They're 111 1/4, 111 3/4. Johnson is 7 years older and has a reach advantage of 4 inches. The rules governing this NABF title go: 10-point must system. Winner of the round gets 10 points. Loser 3 knockdown rule is in effect. There's no standing 8 count. Saved by the bell in the last round only. The referee or doctor can stop the fight. If there's a headbutt duly noted by the referee, they'll go to the cards in the 4th round or later. And there's the bell, and out they come for round 1, scheduled for 12. It was the 3 knockdown rule that won the title for Johnson here as he defeated Maquito Martinez. Now, it must be noted, and we've talked about this, Rich, Maquito Martinez is an unusual fighter. He goes down a lot. He always gets back up. But 3 times in 1 round, and the NABF rules said that he was no longer going to be considered a chance for the title. It was going to be Arthur Johnson's.
But even that being the case, Tom, I think that gave us a good idea and a glance into the new philosophy of Arthur Johnson, that he needs to be more aggressive and get guys out of there if he possibly can.
Nice looking figure there in the ring, isn't he? He really looks like he's fit and ready and very serious. Now, he is 30 years of age, and he's fought only 16 times, has a record of 13 3. And Rich will tell you all about Sith Bang for Shang, the guy that beat him over there in Thailand, and Tapia, another guy that took a shot away from him, and Raton Jimenez, who defeated him in very close fights. But he decided late in life, after being in the Olympics in '88, that at age 25, he decided he wanted to be a professional fighter.
Well, after the Olympic Games, he did not turn pro, Tom, like the rest of his teammates, like Riddick Bowe, who we had sitting ringside, by the way, cheering on his fellow Olympian the night that he fought Raton Jimenez with us. But he did not turn professional. He went into the ministry, and he was a minister for 4 years before he finally decided to go ahead and get back into the ring as a professional.
He's fighting out of East St. Louis, Illinois, and boy, I tell you, it is one of the really the tough cities in the United States, East St. Louis, despite the efforts of a lot of good people. And if you're going to be a ministry, there's plenty of place to practice it in East St. Louis. He's originally from Minneapolis, Minnesota, Arthur Flash Johnson.
Arthur had just an outstanding amateur career, Tom, where he really learned the art of boxing. He fought 190 fights. He won 170 of them along the way. He defeated Kennedy McKinney. He defeated Michael Carbajal in fights as an amateur, and has been an outstanding pro, although he lost those 3 razor-thin decisions and those and all to world champions, by the way. That's the only guy who's been able to beat him, and he doesn't think he's lost a fight yet, if you ask him.
Sure. He's in against a guy who is a heavy hitter. This kid, Granados, really throws some heavy leather. He doesn't have what they term one-punch knockout capability. But I tell you, just heavy blows, they thud right into your body.
Yeah, they're thumping punches, Tom, and, you know, as he's gotten bigger, and grown out of the mini flyweight class, the 105-pound, as he's gone up into a flyweight and even above that into the super flyweight. He's gotten a bigger punch. He's gotten a stronger punch, and it has served him well.
Round one about to go into the books. It's scheduled for 12. The NABF title on the line. Granados indicating to Johnson, didn't hurt me at all, didn't even faze me. That's not a new ploy used by fighters in the sweet science. We come to the end of round number one. What'd you think of the first round?
I thought Granados may have had a slight edge, Tom. He came out to fight, no doubt about that. Now, this is Jim Oldenburg, a longtime trainer with Arthur Johnson, although he is managed and certainly advised as far as his ring skills by Angelo Dundee.
Give me a little swallow. Take a deep breath. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Okay, I want you to take the center of the ring. I want you to get off. 1, 2, 3s, all right?
Now, taking a look at some of the first round action there, you see Granados, who, as I mentioned, has shown up here to fight tonight. He's going to take the fight to Arthur Johnson. He doesn't seem to care, really, even if he misses 4 or 5 punches, he's going to try to land still that 6th one if he possibly can. And there's Granados listening in the corner.
Chuck Hassett's the referee. In fact, he told me just a couple of weeks ago at the Great Western Forum that he had refereed his 100th championship fight. He was over in the Orient. I'm quite proud of that fact, and I can understand why. Why not? That's a major accomplishment.
Well, we've been blessed in California with a lot of really outstanding officials, Tom. They've just been really some great officials as far as refereeing and judging goes.
These two are standing toe-to-toe, to use an old phrase, and really unloading on one another. Granados is in the blue. In the black, the taller of the two men is Arthur Johnson, the champion. That left hand picked off on the gloves. There's a good left that scores as Granados steps in and hits Johnson flush in the jaw with it. Now he's working to the body, and Johnson's going to have to keep this young Puma off him. He's going to have to jab and move, and in fact, one of the things that they talked about in his corner was a little slow. And he's getting off slowly. Well, Granados is a heavy-handed hitter, and Johnson is going to be in for a busy evening, make no mistake about it.
Well, we've seen an unbelievable string of upsets. This would be the biggest in the string, I think, Tom, if we saw Granados beat Arthur Johnson.
Yep. I would have to agree. We have seen some guys do some amazing things, though. But Granados just does not figure to be the world champion. Johnson would be a prohibitive favorite if you were a wagering man coming into this one tonight. Banging away with that left hand. A couple of those punches by Johnson may be just a bit suspect, a bit low.
Johnson has got to be wary a little bit here with Granados, because Granados is throwing punches with real bad intentions.
Yep. Well, he can't afford to just relax. He's got to box this guy, land 5 or 6 punches to whatever Granados throws. He can't afford to be standing there and trying to be something less than a target. He's got to move, he's got to jab, he's got to throw punch after punch. He's going to have to just confuse Granados and convince Granados that, hey, I'm the champion and you're not going to win this title tonight.
Right, and now after a rocky beginning to this round, Johnson seems to be doing just that, Tom. He's landed a number of good jabs. Those punches did not land, by the way.
No.
And he got his jab to working a good effect, but Granados is fearless.
Oh, yes. Well, he's kind of like a wind-up toy. Just start him out there. What has he got to lose? I mean, here he is battling for an NABF championship against a well-known fighter who's been in against some of the best in this division. But Granados is, trying to catch the leprechaun with the pot of gold. He's very close to it, so deep after him. Johnson's got to be worried about him and keep him away. Can't let him stand there and exchange big-time shots with him. Round 2 coming to a close.
I tell you, this guy is making a fight of it.
Yes, he is.
I think he's won both rounds.
I didn't give him the second round.
No?
No. I gave him the first.
One more. Come here. Lay down.
Well, fans, don't forget the best way to get you all the exciting fights in 1997 is by becoming a season ticket holder and joining the Ringsiders Club. You receive a
taking the center of the ring. Fight him for that center of the ring. Hard stick. Start doubling up on him, okay? Right hand right behind it, okay? Just come back with a left hook, down in there, and left in the liver, okay? Everything okay? Hold on it. He hits you. He's throwing 4 and 5 shots at a time. You come right back, you understand? Get off and keep hitting him right over the side.
Both fighters had some great moments in round 2. I think Granodos maybe a little the harder blows at the beginning of the round. He rocked Arthur Johnson with that left hook.
Round number 3 scheduled for 12. NABF flyweight title on the line. Johnson is the champion. He's in the black. Granodos in the blue. Lands with a pretty good left hand that backs Johnson up.
Tom, Jim Oldenburg, the trainer of Arthur Johnson, was telling him to double up on the stick in this round. That means they want him to stick that jab out, not just once or twice, but really begin pumping that out there and take control of the center of the ring with the stick or that jab. There he is doing just that. I missed the presence of Angelo Dundee here tonight, Tom. I'm sorry he's not out here, but I'm sure he's watching it in Florida. Probably didn't like the looks of that right hand landed by Granodos.
He might have winced a little bit.
All right, hold it there. Break it over. Break it. Miguel.
Good left hand by Granodos right at the belt.
Tom, Granodos has had a curious career, to say the least. He fought the first 2.5 years of his career, all of his fights in Mexico City. Then he hooks up with a manager who takes him to Tokyo, Japan. He fights all of his fights the next 2.5 years in Tokyo, Japan.
That's right.
Before he comes out here, he was off 1.5 years before he fought Sammy Stewart, which I'm sure contributed to his defeat earlier this summer when we saw him the first time. But he was a far better fighter, obviously, when he fought Trejo 3 weeks ago.
Well, and he was
obviously tonight.
much bigger than Trejo, really. He might have been 5 or 6 pounds heavier than Trejo, who was barely able to tack 107.5 or 8 pounds.
Yeah, and at this weight class, of course, that's telling. But he's fighting a bigger guy tonight. And Johnson doing pretty well, certainly holding his own.
No question about that.
He's already won the fans.
Hold your punches. Hold
They're
it.
chanting Puma, Puma.
Well, the crowd predominantly Hispanic. And of course, they're here to cheer him on. And he is the underdog. And underdogs have a way of eliciting support from the fans here, there, and everywhere in every sport.
Okay, break it.
Chuck Hassett tells them to break, and they do. You're watching the action in round number 3. Kind of a low punch by Granodos. Hit Johnson somewhere just above his kneecap.
That's what with Johnson, you just saw that little scenario and sequence of punches. That's what he needs to do. Doubled up with the jab, came across with the right, threw another left hand right after that.
Wild swinging left hand by Granodos, not 1 but 2. Both of them missed. We'll be back to see about round 4 in just a moment.
Spread your legs. Out. You're doing all right. You gotta keep.
Well, fans, here will be the first
Once.
round to check out all of the Arrowhead Pond
Swallow.
boxing merchandise.
Hey, Bill.
Stop by the merchandise stand located across from section 207.
You're doing okay. Keep fighting for that center of the ring. Look at it. When you close with him, you get off. You're busy blocking, he's getting off, okay? As soon as you close, you get off. Keep going upstairs, right under the... Keep shooting that stuff with him, okay? When he swings wide, step back, counter over, okay? Keep taking the center of the ring.
As they come out for round number 4, you can see the Rich Murata scorecard has Granodos, the underdog, up by a point, 29-28. Round number 4.
Although, Tom, I thought that Arthur Johnson showed signs of taking command of this fight in round 3. But he did a lot of the things that he normally does very well, and he did them very well in the 3rd round. And that basically is jab, box, be clever, get off with combinations. And I thought he's beginning to put Puma Granados on the defensive.
He's landed 2-3 solid shots, almost all unanswered here to open up round number 4. Now Puma Granados comes back with a wild swinging barrage overhand right, and Johnson slides away from it.
Well, I tell you, this is nothing like the Granados who fought Sammy Stewart. This guy is really showing up to fight here tonight.
Granados is the shorter of the two men. He's in the electric blue trunks and the black trimmed and white. Arthur Flash Johnson, NABF flyweight champion, making his first title defense, a title he won right here in this ring. And he knocked Maquito Martinez down 3 times in 1 round to end that bout. Forum Boxing concludes the year at the Pond with this show tonight, and then next week, next Monday, we'll be in action back at the Forum to close out the regular season '96 at the venue in Inglewood. And then a great big program of fights coming your way in 1997, including the return of Montemaro Paez and Julian Wheeler. That ought to be a dandy, Rich.
Yes, that'll be January 13th at the Forum. I'm looking forward to that time.
A rematch. Wheeler beat Paez up in Tahoe. Scored at the time what turned out to be a major upset, but a very convincing win. Paez had trained hard, due diligence, and all the rest of that. Be interesting to see what the return bout brings.
Come on, Arthur.
We'll be seeing Marco Antonio Barrera too. What a shocking loss. Took both Rich and yours truly by surprise, as it did most of Barrera fans. Big, impressive win by Junior Jones.
Yeah, well, I certainly thought that Jones would be a formidable opponent, Tom. I really suspected Barrera would just wear him down in the normal fashion and finish him off within the distance. I do wish, from a personal standpoint, he'd been given that 60 seconds to try to get himself together between rounds 5 and 6 to see if he could have come out and maybe come back, but he didn't get that chance.
Seconds ticking away here in round number 4. Chuck Hassett steps between the two men. There's the bell. We've fought our way through 4. And we'll go back to Johnson's corner and listen in to the instructions given the champion.
So you take the center of the ring, okay? Yeah. When you get the advantage and you got him on the ropes, I want you sticking that stuff downstairs, you hear? You got him on the advantage. You keep the advantage, you hear? Right. Don't let him back you up. You pivot. If you got to go, you go out, then pivot, okay? Right. Back with the stick, constant stick, right in his face. Okay. Stick. He can't reach you with his short arms, you understand? Right. Stick, right hand, left hook. Okay. He backs up, right hand, right over the top.
All right, as we go back and take a look at some of the action, Granados ever aggressive throughout the round, landing punches, but look at how Arthur, who's a defensive specialist, is taking all of those punches on his elbows and his upper arms.
One of those punches landed. The rest of them were, as you said, all caught, deflected, and smothered up. And, of course, they've made a big issue as they come out for round number 5 out of Johnson's corner. Keep this fight in the center of the ring. Don't get against the ropes. Stick that left hand out there, the stick they're calling it, that jab. Double up on it. And if he gets in close, why, drop that overhand right on him, but keep moving and control the tempo of the fight and keep it in the center of the ring.
They just don't feel that Granados, with those short arms of his, is going to be able to get close enough to hit Arthur if he keeps him out there with the left jab.
And there's a nice left and a right behind it thrown by the champion. Good uppercut by the champion. Another solid right hand by the champion, and I think he's got Granados in trouble, Rich.
Granados does have a great chin. He's absorbing all of these punches.
Well, he's certainly putting it to the test here. Johnson leveling at him with solid shots. Nice combinations, almost without return from the shorter of the two men. Now Granados fighting back. Buries a right hand at Johnson and scores with it.
I can't believe Granados answered back that fast with such a flurry.
But he did. Watching the action in round 5. It is scheduled for 12 for the NABF flyweight title. Johnson in the black and white is the current champion.
This is the kind of fighter, Tom, really, who should be made to order for Arthur, though. One who comes straight in at him, winging wide punches with much shorter arms, and just much shorter fighter. This is the kind of fighter that Johnson really, everything that he does so well should come to the fore.
Landed a pretty good uppercut, slipped an overhand right thrown by Granados. He's trying to jerk his left hand free and work it to the body. Get off first, one of the oldest axioms and admonitions in all of boxing. The best punch in boxing is that jab. You throw it and get off before the other guy does. He's fighting backwards or trying to recover.
Well, getting off first, you know, there's a lot of truth to that, Tom. It's just like, you know, with Holyfield against Tyson. You know, how Tyson, when he'd come after people, they'd run.
That's right.
Everybody kept asking Holyfield, what are you going to do when he comes after you? He said, I'm going to hit him.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm going to hit him before he hits me.
Well, couple with obvious boxing skills, Holyfield that is, with a courageous heart, and a man who's not afraid of Tyson, as many opponents who climb into the ring with him are. So you had the groundwork for a perfect big-time heavyweight fight. And what a bout we've got going here. We'll be back.
Hold it there. Hold it there. Hold it.
That was a really good exchange there, Jerry, if you want to show that one again. That was some
And
hot
ladies and
stuff.
gentlemen, please turn your attention to the Jumbotron and be sure to mark your calendars for other exciting events
deep
coming
breath.
to the Arrowhead Pond of Anaheim. We'll see you
Spit that.
here at the pond.
Is he giving you any trouble in any ways? Let's just swallow that. Okay, look at when you close with him, you got to get off 4 and 5 at a time. You're doing the uppercut. When you miss the hook, come with that right uppercut.
All right.
Every time. Okay?
All right.
Take advantage of this guy. This guy's starting to get tired.
All right.
Stick, a lot of stick on him. Use that stick on him, okay? Stick, right hand, left hook. You miss the hook, you come with the uppercut.
All right.
Parece. Haga una sentadilla. Una sentadilla.
Out they come for round number 6, scheduled for 12. Johnson in the black and white. Granados in the electric blue, trimmed in silver. Chuck Hassett, the third man in the ring. We're at the pond in Anaheim. I'm Tom Kelly with Rich Murata, Fernando Paramo. Fight night at the pond.
Well, that was some red-hot action at the end of that
Wasn't
last
it?
round.
Yeah.
Man, they were both just getting into their punches, setting down on their punches, and letting fists fly. And they were both landing some good shots.
Johnson really tries to do what his corner people tell him. He threw that hook and brought the uppercut as instructed right behind it, scored with both of them. And again, he works the jab nicely, not once but twice, then throws the right hand behind it.
All right, hold it there. Break, Arthur.
That, after a while, is going to begin to discourage Granados. He still keeps coming in, Tom, with an ever-present aggressiveness, but I do believe that you keep getting hit with those jabs in your nose like that and the follow-up right cross. Sooner or later, you know, it's going to pay. It's going to exact a toll from Granados.
Now, Johnson is doing what his corner told him not to do, or warned him against not doing, and that is letting Granados close with him and unleash some wild punches, rights and lefts thrown with reckless abandon and with intent to do great bodily harm. He's got a jab, keep him away, use his boxing skills, and as you say, just wear Granados out, just discourage him.
Out here in the center of the ring, moving the way he is right now, Johnson should own the fight. Granados has got to get close to him to hit him. But right at this range, this distance between the two, it should be all Arthur Johnson.
Johnson every now and then will allow Granados to get next to him, to get him up against the ropes and throw some punches. Definite no-no. His corner is very much aware of that, and I'm sure Arthur is as well. Nice right hand dropped in there by Johnson, right in the point of the jaw of Granados, who's got a fine chin. Another good right hand. Granados hard to discourage, throwing that wild right hand, hoping to have a little magic here. Round number 6.
Two world world title opportunities for Arthur Johnson. In 1994, he fought Pitchett Sithbang Pachin for the IBF Flyweight Championship. He went into his backyard in Bangkok, Thailand, and lost a very close decision and hotly disputed.
What would you call Albuquerque and Tapia?
Well,
That
again,
backyard, huh?
right into the backyard. And in a way, you know, you fight Raton Jimenez out here, you know, in a sense, that's going to go into a guy's backyard too, especially since Johnson hadn't fought out here before.
So those are the only 3 losses on his career. That right hand thrown by Granados looked better than it was. Kind of a slipping, sliding effort. And Johnson pretty much slid away from it. We're through round 6. A reminder now, the Budweiser Championship Boxing's Fight Night at the Forum will be back on December 9th. We've got a 12-round NABO featherweight title bout. Juan Manuel Marquez. He's 17-1, 12 knockouts. He goes against Joey Negron, who is 13-5-2 with 7 KOs. Also, it's going to be the finals of the Miss Budweiser Ring Girl competition. The winner that night, among all of the beauties, will get $10,000. Join us now, Budweiser Championship Boxing's Fight Night at the Forum, Monday, December 9th.
Te quedas aquí, bota la mano y combínala con la otra, entonces ya saca la cabeza, ¿entendió? Sí, pero hágalo, para ganar hay que trabajar, aunque le cueste trabajo, aunque se
Go back,
canse,
take a look at some of the action from last round. Arthur Johnson landing a whistling right hand right between the upraised hands of Granados, who really had no defense against the quickness of that shot.
Well, it's something Johnson's going to have to do to discourage this very tough kid out of Mexico City, Granados, who just keeps coming at him, relentless almost, dogged. And his determination almost jumps in the air to throw that left hand. He's 5'2", Johnson is 5'7". Johnson's 30 and Granados is 23.
All the way back.
Johnson is not a used up 30, though he's only had 16 fights.
Talking to Jim Oldenburg tonight prior to the fight, and asked him, you know, what the plans are for Arthur Johnson. And he said that, you know, they would like to fight Raton Jimenez again, if possible, for a world championship. But they're also very interested, and perhaps even more interested, in fighting Yuri Arbachikov, the WBC, the mysterious WBC champion, who never seems to leave the Orient. But that's a fight they feel that they could possibly get and get the WBC crown.
Well, Johnson certainly has got frequent flyer miles. He's not afraid to fly somewhere to fight somebody. As witnessed the trip to Thailand and to Albuquerque, and maybe he'd go to Australia. Is that where Yuri's been hiding out?
No, he'd be fighting in Japan.
Japan, huh? I understood he was coming to the States to fight. Oh, no, that's Costa-Zoo, isn't it?
Right, Costa-Zoo is fighting. In fact, is fighting January 18th in Las Vegas. On the undercard of De La Hoya and Miguel Angel Gonzalez.
As that fight draws a bit closer, I'm going to have to get your expert's view on that. Looks to me as though there's a cut now in the left eye of Granados, Rich.
Well, Arthur's the kind of puncher, Tom. He's a stinging puncher. He's a slicing light puncher. It seemed like he would have the kind of the style that would cut a lot of fighters.
He just landed a chopping right hand right up there around that right eye.
Hold it there, wait.
Does it look cut to you? There's not much blood, but it looks... Yep, it is, because Chuck Hassett's checking the over. Nice uppercut, nice left hook to follow, thrown by Johnson.
See how he controls the center of the ring, though? I mean, really, out here, he's just basically doing what he wants. He's throwing all kinds of punches. Not only doubling up the jab, but hooking off the jab at times, coming up with little uppercuts, really owning the fight. Granados, his flurries are coming fewer and more far between.
But Johnson has to be wary because this little guy out of Mexico City doesn't have any quit in him. He is going to be there as long as he's able, and Johnson cannot afford to let this guy suddenly nail him with one shot coming out of the dark evening. Now the blood's beginning to flow a bit more prominently out of that cut above the right eye, and Johnson backs Granados against the ropes, working him over pretty good as round 7 will come to a close.
Granados he's not going to make it.
No.
He's not going to last another. He's almost done. He's just getting hit too many shots.
Yeah. And the cut of the... Yeah.
I want you to stick him hard downstairs.
All right.
On the rope.
a trabajar. Si le pegan, le van a seguir abriendo. Necesita trabajar.
Arthur Flash Johnson now in total control of this fight, just leveling Puma Granados at the end of that last round. Just a violent, really, series of blows that he rained off the head of Granados in the last 30 seconds. And looks to me as though Granados, if he keeps taking that kind of punishment, is not going to last much longer, Tom, because he's just about worn to a frazzle there at the end of that last round.
But he is a tough customer and a worthy challenger. And he came out here to start round number 8 with a vengeance. He almost ran across the ring. He's forcing the action. And Johnson, if he wants to put him in the same position he had him at the end of round 7, is going to have to keep the fight in the middle of the ring, outbox him, work him over, and really convince him all over again that this is no place for him to be this Monday evening. Because Granados firmly believes he belongs out there, and he's going to give it his very level best all the while he's out there.
Yeah, but in the last couple of rounds, really, Johnson's just been like a surgeon, Tom, and he's just dissecting this opponent.
Johnson is having a bit of a slow start here to round number 8 for a guy who finished round 7 in such expert fashion. It was a nice hook to the body, and he brought it right back up, doubled up on it. Now he allows Granados to get him up against the ropes in front of us, ties him up, and walks away toward the middle of the ring.
Surprised he didn't spin out of there and try to put Granados back in the same situation.
Well, for a guy who had such a dazzling 7th round, don't you think he's a little slow getting off the dime here in round 8?
Yeah, unless he's just trying to set him up for what would be another big finish.
And he's landing some pretty good shots now, even as we speak. Johnson, that is, working the left hand. Nice jab. It is really uphill for Granados now, no question about it. Cut over the right eye, left eye. Not a major cut, but it was bleeding a bit. His corner did nice work on it, right out the corner of the left eye.
Tom, Granados really brought some excitement to this fight for the first 3 or 4 rounds, but this guy is just a world-class fighter. He's just totally world-class.
He hurt Granados with that clubbing right hand too, Rick. But I tell you, Granados is one tough guy. Look at him fight back. Johnson hadn't better take anything for granted with this kid. Even as often and as easy as he appears to be to hit, Johnson can't be very nonchalant about this. Handful of seconds remain here in round number 8, and there's the bell, bringing that round to a close. Let's follow with Granados, and we'll go over to his corner. And breathing heavily.
Respira, respira.
Ni siquiera te sangró, ¿entendiste? Pero necesitas trabajar. Si lo dejas trabajar, él te va a pegar. Tantita agua, dale tantita agua.
All right, we take a look at round 8 action, and there you see Johnson with that overhand right, staggering Granados back into the corner, then pounding the body. But even late in the round, Granados still full of fight, summoning up whatever energy he possibly could muster to drive Johnson back with a series of body blows. I gave Granados the first 2 rounds of this fight. Has given Johnson every single round since then, Tom, but I think this kid has been fun to watch, Granados.
Well, he has, no question about it. 78-74 on Murata's scorecard. Johnson on top. And although Granados was, boy, he's late getting off the stool coming out. He walks out to the center of the ring now. This is round number 9, scheduled for 12. Either man has been down. There's a big smear of Vaseline over the cut on the outer corner of the left eye of Granados. Johnson is unmarked. That flurry of punches we showed you by Granados, in point of fact, and interesting for good reporting, why probably threw 7 or 8 of them, and maybe 1 of them landed. Most of them were blocked, covered. Big hunk of Vaseline, and Chuck Hassett says enough of that. Left it off.
What Granados needs at this stage, and being in this situation now, Tom, He throws a lot of Sunday shots. He's got to just land some big haymakers.
That's right. He's got to hope to catch a little magic here with one big punch. If he still has enough left with one big punch to stun Johnson or hurt him. Johnson, in the meantime, has to get off first, like that. Jab, throw the right hand behind the left. Jab him twice. Keep moving out, boxing. Plenty of fight left in Granados, but I don't know how much damage he can do. Johnson looks content to go the distance here in round number 9 of this 12-round championship scrap. .170 amateur wins out of 190 bouts.
But, you know, he has not been an active professional, Tom, and I'm not even taking into account those first 4 years after the Olympic Games when he didn't fight, but this still is only, you know, he's turned pro in '92, and this is only his 17th professional fight.
Yes.
Hold it there.
And I think they're bent on
Great.
making him a little more active.
I would think so, and of course I think although he's an accomplished boxer and has developed a pretty good punch, why he still has much to learn, and like anybody who's in his 16th professional fight. A lot of amateur fights, certainly he's no novice to the ring as he turned professional, but it is a different world of fighting the pros as opposed to going along in the amateur bouts, as difficult as some of those guys were and are.
I would like to see him get another shot at a world championship, though.
Well, you would think that for him. After all, he is 30, discounting the fact that he is not an old 30 boxing-wise, but 30 is 30 nonetheless. Round number 9 coming to a close, handful of seconds remaining. He had Granados in trouble in round 7. He didn't do much about it in round 8. He's fought just well enough to win round number 9. Johnson has. We'll be back.
Good round.
I would have thought that
After the 7th round, he put him away.
Yeah, that it certainly didn't look like Granados was going to last much longer.
Feel good?
Not if he wanted to really mount an offensive, is what
Pick
you're
it up
saying.
for me. A lot of stick. Right hand's right behind, okay?
For more information on the ringside S Club, call 714-704-2420.
Use that stick, right hand, and come with that right uppercut. It's there, okay? But just keep sticking him, keep that distance just right, okay? Bang, bang.
Jerry.
Just keep feeding it to him, okay?
Jerry,
You get his little face
when
up in
you
the
go
air,
to
crack
put
him
that
with the right hand,
recap
okay?
together for those people at Fox, you might want to see if you could come up with that 7th round knockdown that Margarito suffered, and then we go from that into how he came back, rallied, and won that fight. That type of thing. All right, out they come for round number 10. It's scheduled for 12. That is Arthur Flash Johnson in the black and white. He's in against a very tough cookie in Miguel Puma Granados as they battle for Johnson's NABO flyweight title.
Tom, I'm surprised Granados lasted this long. After the 7th round pummeling that he took at the end of the round, I really didn't think he was going to last maybe another minute or two once the 8th round started.
I agreed with you 100%. In fact, I didn't think he was even maybe going to come out for round number 8. Johnson kind of coasted through round number 8. I think he's won every round since then, but he certainly hasn't acted like a man who had his opponent ready to go and was interested in getting it over with.
The interesting thing about Arthur's knockout record is all of his knockouts have been within 4 rounds.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get you early, he's pretty much content to go ahead and take the distance, get down to business, and to concentrate on getting the W.
And even in the 3 that he lost, the championship goes, they went the distance, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
So he is a guy who does do that, is able and capable very much so of going the distance. But his new announced policy of getting it over as quickly as possible if given the chance rather than to take the decision making out of the hands of people at ringside.
You know, but But, you know, really, Tom, this is not the kind of opponent you wanted to come out with and slug in the first couple of rounds.
Absolutely
You know,
correct.
that would have just been stupid.
Yeah.
And
in fact, I gave Granados the first round. I know you gave him a couple, maybe three of the first rounds. I didn't give him that many, but he came out full of fight, and Johnson might have been vulnerable to really getting nailed. Had he stood there and exchanged right hands with him or what have you. He scores with the right hand there a moment ago, drops a little short right on Granados. We're here in round number 10, the Pond in Anaheim.
everything for Arthur seems to work off that jab, though. If he gets that jab cooking, Tom, he can follow it up with the right. It's so well disguised, the opponent hardly ever even sees it when he comes across with that right cross.
Granados is a tough, tenacious guy, though, isn't he? Huh?
Yes.
There's a lot of bulldog in this kid. He's just like a dog that grabs you by the pant leg and just will not let go. He's going to be there for the whole evening. Yeah, he'll sign your.
It would be fun to see him in there with somebody who fights like he does and just wants to stand and slug.
Well, if you want about a round or two to have a boxing match, that'd be it. He keeps working in there, mostly to no avail at the bell. Johnson cleverly handling most of those wild swinging attempts. Boxing fans, the Ringsiders Club will offer you select seating, complimentary parking, and exclusive Forum Club membership. Join the Ringsiders Club, see the action up close, and become a part of the finest boxing program in America. Call now. Operators are standing by at 310-673-1773.
I want you to pick it right up.
Go over to the corner of Miguel Granodos.
Let it hang, man. A lot of stick. Wipe a little of that. He'll get it. Great. Okay?
Todo lo que hay. A cerrar, alborote la gallera para presionar al juez.
Just think of the haircuts we could come up with if we had hair to cut like that, eh? Up they come for round number 11. Johnson in the black, trimmed in white. Granados in the electric blue, trimmed in silver. Neither man has been down. Johnson had Granados in what looked to us to be kind of serious trouble in round number 7, but since then has not done much about it. He has boxed expertly, has a beautiful left hand, as you see. He is an accomplished boxer, clever. And of course, the fact that he is taller gives him an edge, and the reach department, if he uses it. When he doesn't, why, being taller and having a reach in the edge is of little no value to him at all.
Hey, the instructions of Jim Oldenburg have been remarkably consistent and similar every round.
Yes.
Take the center of the ring, stick. Use the stick. I mean, that's basically been it for him.
And the other admonition, when you throw that left hook, and if it misses, come with the right hand, bring the uppercut right up. It'll be right there and easy for you to score with it, and so far it has been.
I wouldn't mind to see if he got a world title shot at 112 pounds. I'd like to see this Johnson in with the other Johnson.
That would be something, wouldn't it?
Flash and too sharp.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a very interesting bout.
I think maybe Mark Too Sharp might hit a little harder.
Oh, yes. I don't think there's any question about that.
I think he's a better puncher. I don't know if he's a better boxer, although we've seen him put on some truly unbelievably fine bouts. His fight with Roscoe was just a classic when he put Tejedor down with that one punch, Rich, huh? Right here in this ring.
That's right, to win the championship.
Boy.
Looking forward to seeing Mark get back into action before too long.
Yes, I am too.
Hold it there, hold him.
You talk about opponents. You mentioned Raton Jimenez, why he'd be an ideal opponent for either one of these Johnsons.
You know, this is, you talk about the 108, 112-pound divisions. There's really a tremendous amount of talent.
Yep.
And a lot of interesting fights that could be made.
Yep.
Now we'll leave it to these promoters to make them.
Granados banging away, and a lot of the punches are low, but Johnson's paying a little heed to him. We're in round 11, and Granados trying to turn this thing upside down.
Well, you look at that advanced stuff. That is Willie Pep stuff right there.
Yep.
Jabs, lean in, slip to the side, jab, quick little right hand, back off again.
Hold your punches, right?
Beautiful boxing by Arthur Flash Johnson.
And of course, we sit here, and the hardest thing we've done all night is talk. This guy's in the 11th round of an action-packed thing that's been going on for the past hour. And we wonder why he isn't doing just that all the time. In the meantime, Granados probably feels this is my last chance. There's the bell. That's the end of round number 11, and he's putting all kinds of pressure on Johnson. Kudos to young Granados. He has put up a whale of a fight here.
Here he is, Tom, in the 11th round, still coming strong. I mean, he must have been hit with close to 500 punches tonight, yet Granados just keeps coming.
Put your head over there.
And he's winding up, throwing Sunday shots. Most of them are missing, to be sure, but he's throwing them. He is trying.
Working hard, working ever so hard. His work ethic is A+.
Trying as hard as possible. Bruce Selden, please take notes.
I tell you, there's a lot of so-called great fighters that do well to take note of how well these little men fight. Here they come for round number 12. He's the current NABF flyweight champion. His title being defended here tonight. Out he comes. They touch gloves for the 12th and final round. Granados with a cut in the corner of his left eye, up in the eyebrow. It has not been a factor in the fight. His corner people have done an outstanding job. It was not that big a cut to begin with, but they have kept it from being anything other than a brief annoyance. He's got a couple of big-time strawberries, one under each eye, on each cheekbone. He's gotten nailed several big-time shots. Now he backs Johnson up against the ropes, and Johnson ties him up. Landed a pretty good right hand to the body there, Rich.
Yeah, and I think that matchmaker Antonio Curtis, Tom, will try to bring Puma Granados back because he's a crowd-pleasing sort.
Yep.
And, you know, he tries hard. He gives you that honest effort. Against a fighter of any lesser class than Arthur Johnson, he is going to be right in there with anybody.
No question about it.
We'll see Arthur Flash Johnson back here as well, Tom, and I hope Angelo Dundee comes back as he gets a warning here from Hassett for using those ropes. But, you know, I tell you, one of the great pleasures in life is sitting down for an hour or two with Angelo and just listening to him spin stories, asking him questions, and there's a lot of wisdom.
Dundee has a few stories to tell.
Let's get him started on that Henry Cooper Cassius Clay fight.
Hold him. Hold him out there.
He's a great one.
Blood beginning to flow a little bit from the cut over the left eye of Granados. We're in round number 12 here. Granados in blue and Arthur Flash Johnson in black and white. To make his first title defense of the NABF flyweight crown a successful one. Been a nice night of boxing here at the Pond in Anaheim. We hope you've enjoyed it. This is our last appearance this year. Next year, of course, there'll be 7 big dates of boxing here at the Pond in Anaheim and a big schedule out at the Great Western Forum. And for all of the folks here at the Pond, I know they join Rich and I and Fernando in wishing you and yours a very wonderful holiday season ahead. There's a cut now in the corner of the right eye of Johnson as I look at it. Hope you have a marvelous holiday season. And we'll look forward to seeing you in '97. And of course, for you fans at the Great Western Forum, we'll be there next Monday. We'll be back to see about the decision. We're not going to tell them who won?
No interview, I think they said.
No, the girl.
Oh, I don't know.
Well. Well.
I do believe we're going to get off on time tonight.
I believe you're right. I believe she's got it. The brain in
12 rounds of boxing, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Henry Elespuru, scores the bout 114-113. Chuck Jampa scores it 116-112. Robert Bird scores the bout 118-110. All three in favor of the winner, and still champion Arthur Flash Johnson.